between devs and designers, who is the one serving breakfast and who is the one taking the breakfast all the time? And why? Why does it have to be that somebody must be served every single time? I would need to mention that we have a quiz. It's one question. Keep your answer till the end. If you cheat, right, or you like search Google, any of those things, God is watching you. Shall not do it, but God is watching you. The order of the introduction is how you see fit. So
this is the problem I've always had from childhood. Number one, why? My name is Precious Abamba, but everybody calls me Bam. So I'm a UX designer. Abi, is that all? Yeah, that's all.
That's all.
You say introduce now. I should give
Okay.
bank account number.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you, Mom.
Yes, my name is Adimju Messi. Everybody calls me Messi. I'm a front-end developer / mobile.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you very much, Drowns. My name is Enyola. I'm a front-end web developer, and I do some UX as well. But I won't say I really like design on Figma. I do some lo-fi designs. I love helping people get into tech. I love interacting with other developers. I love chats like this. Why is Bam looking like?
People like you that used to make others look unintelligent.
No. It's necessary. She's a mobile and a front-end dev. I'm not even a mobile dev. She's the one making me. So I'm so glad to be here, guys. I love plantain.
Thank you, Rex. Thank you. So, Clement, on to you. How far? So, just briefly introduce yourself. The order of the introduction is how you see fit. So,
hello, guys. I am Clement Bassi. I am a product designer. I think that's all, since you gave us the liberty to choose how we introduce ourselves.
That's good.
Product designers, we don't have stress. Simple.
Does exactly.
Now for the question, right? This question is for people who are familiar with the likes of MKBHD. These questions have been asked on their channel before. So now I'll ask you just one question. I will say it only twice. Please, for the sake of this video, I trust your integrity and do not go around checking Google until the end. So yes, off NEPA. So this is this is the question. What is the full meaning of the word boot? What is the full meaning of booting? So when you're on your computer and it shows you booting, right? What's the completion of the word? It's an acronym. What's the completion of that word? Do not say the word. Do not say it if you know it. Do not Google it. For let's wait to the end.
You don't know what came to my mind when I heard boot.
So, Clement, your camera not off. Open a new tab. We'll go to check them. So now, let's get into it, right? So we've all introduced ourselves. We all know where we are. I like the Eniola is just smiling. This guy is happy. What is that one thing that you generally, that's one experience that you see that devs do or designers do that you generally do not like? And like, why is that something you do not like?
I'll talk from a very small experience, right? One of the lady I was quite a woman. Let me say woman. She's a designer. So we're meant to work together. She made the design for me to do, like you understand, like she finished up design. She gave me to build it up into a front-end page, right? So on making this design, I noticed that she kept making changes. She kept changing things. And it's not the first time that you guys are doing that. You guys are always changing things. If you are done with the design, drop it. They will come here, they will change the color. They will come here, they will change something. They will say this one should be circle. Meanwhile, it was bugged before. Now, that's one thing. They always change things. Like, I don't know, maybe they're not always satisfied. They always feel like they need to do more, right? The second thing I don't like about designers, they can be perfectionistic. And they used to stress us a lot. Like, you guys stress us a lot. Like, that perfection is always there. Like, the people I work with, right? Like, I don't know what to say, man, but it's a problem. Like, I go on book, call me 5 in the morning, and the person is telling me, like, the thing is meant to be like a triangle, not a trapezium. I'm like, what is this rubbish? Give me, man.
Right.
Man.
Thank you.
In your life, you cut this part, you begin chop.
Yeah, so anybody else? Clement, Clement, you are tech lead, so you've been a dev yourself, right? What's your experience with like developers, and what is that thing that like pricks you the most?
Okay, it's devs trying to take shortcuts when it comes to implementation of designs. Let me use someone in mind. Okay, let me use a recent one. He said I should export the hero section of the landing page as an image.
I hope they don't get to
as
watch
an
this
image
podcast, so you get to keep your job.
As an image. Probably thinking that maybe I'm not aware of how it should be implemented or how it can be implemented. So at first I ignored that. I ignored his request. Then I went through his code sometime later and found out that there are certain parts of the design where you have dividers. You know what divider is, yeah? Line dividers. He exported those as images as well. I had to tell him that there are ways you can implement this with your style sheet and your HTML or whatever. And that's my problem. You see, they try to like just try different kinds of shortcuts and unprofessional means to implement designs. That's one. Another one is well, I won't call this another one because it depends on how good you are as a developer, because pixel perfect design is very important to me, and those steps are bad at pixel perfect implementation, like pixel for pixel, you get. So just those two for now. Definitely, I'm going to remember more. But yeah, just those two.
Well, and now I know what he's saying is relatable, Sha. Yeah, Messi.
Okay, so Eniola said something about designers being perfectionists. You cannot blame us. God is an ultimate designer. He's the ultimate designer, and we take after our father. If it's not perfect, it's rubbish. Do you understand? So we being perfectionists is because we want the best for our users and everyone. Do you get? And you cannot just take away the fact that we are a very inspired set of people. Do you get? Like we could just sleep and wake up and have like, I just thought about this thing, let me implement it. Something else, when you're making designs, you have the client's end, right? Most times it's not our fault, to be very honest. It's not our fault. Clients can be very, very stressful. You'll be on your own. They'll tell you to use blue today. You say, okay, I'm done, I'm using blue. You wake up in the morning and you see one long message telling you to use red. So most times when you see designers changing designs, it's not because we want to change designs. We don't like work. Me personally, I don't like so much work. Do you get? Most times it's the fault of the clients. Yes, it's true. It's the fault of the clients. The same way clients just sleep, they just sleep and wake up, and one kind of spirit just give them one kind of very funny ideas and they just dump it on your table. And you know, this thing is a chain, right? You have your clients, you have the designer, you have the developer. Do you get? Now you work for who pays you. And you can't always blame a designer for giving you some shitty ass designs. Do you get? So for that, I will apologize for designers that stress developers a lot. I don't like stress. So if someone should stress me, trust me, I'll freak out. But you can't always blame us. It's not always our fault. Being perfectionist, yes, because this is our job. This is what we put on our portfolio. You have to like do it because it still be part of our portfolio, right? Yeah, that's it. The only thing I don't like about developers is that you can change people's designs a lot. Like I gave you something, I gave you A in capital letter. You are doing it in small letters. Like why?
A lot.
Why?
It happens a lot. It happens.
You're just looking
almost
for trouble.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that.
You just want to be dragged.
That's another question. So now to Messi and Eniola, wait, you guys, why is it that Messi, you get to answer what you don't like about us? Drink water first. To you guys, why is it that designs that you are being handed to, they always change? It's like I'm giving you something on a plate. It's in Figma, like it's the same thing both of us are looking at. Why is it that when you finish, they always change? And you are the person coding, not as if you have two, it's you. Why is that the design they always change?
Well, first off, the implementation of your design is always based on the level of expertise of the developer. That is one thing you should always know. And also there are some practical things that you put on designs that we just cannot implement. And also for some reason, there are some designs that we have to change because we find out that when we want to implement the functionality, it's just not possible. Then we have to look for something else that can achieve what we want. Even though I agree that sometimes it might not be the best user experience wise, but the developer wants something that works. I know that the aesthetics are very important. We want it to look nice. We also want it to look nice, but much more than the look, the functionality is very important. And if the design that you've given us cannot achieve what we want functional wise, we're going to change it. But one thing I like to do personally is that if I get a design and there's something I can't implement, I always try to communicate with the designer that I cannot implement this feature alpha. Will you change it? Or I should do something else? And then you look at it and tell me, okay, let's do something else around this line. So yeah, we change designs, but not intentionally most times.
Oh,
Sometimes
so now
because we can't implement it. Or
okay.
Some of you actually do it intentionally. Some
With full
because
chest.
they be like with full chest,
Yes.
especially front-end developers. Why? They will tell you, oh, they have this thing of saying UX design just started in 2009. Before UX design or before UI
Yes.
design, there has always been front-end design. And sorry, it looks like there's a power tussle, like UX designers are trying to take your jobs from you guys. Do you get? I don't know where that came from. But the thing is, like she said, like Mercy said, if you're going to change my designs, let me know. But some don't. They just give them something and they're giving you another thing. And when you try to talk to them, they'll be like, it was not looking nice. Did you ask me? First of all, as a UX designer, we're not just designing interfaces, we're designing experience. What if after my research, this is the best experience for this user or for this product? You have to, I think there has to be a synergy between developers and designers. But you see, most times is this thing that comes like, oh, UX design started, which day did you start? Especially when you're dealing with a developer that has experience. Imagine you, a UX designer, maybe you have like 2 years experience and you're working for someone that has like 10 years experience in front end. Do you get? That person definitely will not, they'll be looking at you like a baby in, like you just started tech or you just came in, you don't, and it's wrong. Do you understand? Before I arrived at that design, I've done my research. I didn't just wake up one morning and, okay, let me just do it like this because it's like this. Talk to your designer. It won't take anything from you. Do you guys get? You guys are nice people. Yes, we appreciate the work you are doing. But please try and communicate with designers. It won't take anything from you. If you're going to change a feature, you tell the person, oh, I want to change it because I feel, yeah, but just waking up and everything has scattered. It doesn't make sense now. Come on, guys.
The main issue here is communication, because when the designer adds something to the design without informing the developer, I think that's rare. He should communicate. Same thing goes for devs. Before changing something that is out of line or that doesn't follow what was designed, they should try to communicate that too as well. Yeah, that said, I also remember something else that my backend dev used to do. So he's like, he has some position in the company. So there are features we recommend based on research, but because he is in charge of the backend, they're kind of like the first people to go through your user interface and map out fields and stuff they will use at the backend. So sometimes he just neglects your findings and goes ahead to suggest his, either based on what he can implement or how difficult it will be to implement, something like that. So that's another issue. It was kind of, gas center designer, when your boss is the one managing how the design goes. Yeah, exactly. Since he had some position in the company, that's how things went for a while. I couldn't complain.
Based on what you guys have said, to the devs, right? You sabi or you know sabi? Now, that's a very important question. And you're not messy. All the features where they change, all the things where you're like, they come out because, maybe it's not properly implemented, or you say the designer does not do it well, or it's too far stretched. Is it a question of you sabi or you know sabi? Or is it actually the designer that is doing it? Because designers do not just wake up and get inspiration from heaven. We don't see them somewhere. So we are probably copying from somewhere.
Will I say when it comes to somebody making up a design and then I have to remove something, I will only say maybe the designer no sabi. I will not say myself because actually, sorry.
Go on, I didn't hear you. Go on.
Like designers do, like I believe as a designer, you should know what. I know anything is implementable, right? But you should know what will look good when implemented. But when I see some things that are not that okay, I think as you guys said earlier, honestly, I won't just pass through anything or just leave anything out. I will actually contact the designer, right? But where I work, actually, I personally like talk with the designer like frequently. So like we're always up to date on things. So if we have to like change something, it's already be like ahead of time to be changed already. Or if I, before I will contact the designer, I'll really check it out myself.
The thing you say you don't drag designers, they say we no sabi. The thing is to avoid all this problem, anything when they give you, do them like that. You understand? If I tell you, say, put purple on top ash, put and give me, you know why? It's going to save you a lot of stress as a developer. You can defend yourself. Do you get? So if they start saying who did, you say, it's what the designer gave me.
But that's not good for you too, because you also want to put on your portfolio. Why would I put something that's ugly on my portfolio? Doesn't look nice on me.
You can go and redesign it later and make it.
Can you
look
imagine?
nice.
That's like double work. I should not redesign again. Why?
How you design it work later?
Why?
That is it. Because now the thing is, client is a chain, right?
Communication, as Clement said, like is very important. Like that miscommunication is very important. So in your own experience with devs and with designers, what was the leading cause of you guys having a clash or a problem at all? Like, and why was that a leading cause? Aside, maybe say communication, as Clement has mentioned.
They'll come and tell you, I have 5 years experience. You are still an intern.
So there's a power dynamic.
Sometimes designers themselves also like to overdo things, to overdo.
From your experience,
And
so
then,
your co-workers,
yes, now.
I know some of them. Okay, go on.
No, I don't have flaggers in my workspace. My designer, they always do things in excess.
Nah, so.
Actually, but from other things that I've done, like side projects, no, some designers like to overdo things, and that is just it. And then when you're even telling the person that, bro, I cannot do this thing, yeah, I'll be like, if I can put it in my design, that means somebody somewhere has done it to try, and I'm like, I can't do it because I know I cannot do. That's what I'm telling you. So we can reach an understanding, and like, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. Of course, I'm also learning. So my abilities have limitations. You understand? It's not as if I see something that is looking so extraordinary on the design, I also try to do my due diligence and try to research, okay, something I can implement. How can I go about this? But if I've tried all the things I know.
But then this is one of the closing questions I was having is, now in terms of the problems that we've had, first of all, we'll talk about a solution to the power dynamic you mentioned, Bam, and then we'll talk about the developers or the designers doing oversabi. Now, what is one general solution that you think would solve most, if not all the problems that we always have as designers and developers?
Okay, briefly, what I think can solve most of this issue that we all have, because these issues sometimes they get really big, right? To be honest, they get really big. I believe that first of all, a design should be able to speak for itself. Like a good designer can create a design that we have all the file arranged, we have the content, maybe like the images or the icons downloadable. Like if there's a vector icon created, something like that, everything should be downloadable. Like something like that, a good design have everything structured in a very, very nice way that someone can easily utilize it, right? The second thing I think is that they will always be things like this. It's very important because nothing can replace human connection. And I believe when we come like this and we argue, we're only solving the problem, right? Even though it may lead to a little bit of quarrel. Like some people lack patience. This takes stuff too. Like some designers, they don't want to go back to that stuff. Some devs don't want to go back to do anything as well. They want to just do what they can do and live there. Sometimes we have all this interaction on sites created by designers, right? And to get them done, will be like, let's say, creating insane writing code that maybe only experts can do it. If I've seen something like that and I cannot do it, I will just maybe pick up a library and I get something close to that, right? But even an expert doesn't know everything. Yeah. So, and the last thing I'll say about that is front-end developers knowing the basics of UX design. and UX designer knowing the basics of front-end development. Does the plain basics, like not anything deep. Like all I did to be a designer, I won't say I'm a designer, please don't attack me. But all I did for the knowledge in design, I can make a lo-fi design, following all the rules that they do, was just watch a 1 hour, 30-minute video and practicing, honestly. And that was all I've done so far. So
in terms of like the wala we always have, what to you is the one-stop solution?
Eniola mentioned one, which is devs should try to know like the basics of design, and designers should try to know like some basics of development, or that's one. I agree with that. I mentioned before communication, very important. Nothing almost beats that. When there's good communication and good back and forth, there would hardly be any strain. Those two are very important.
Developers should try to understand the basics of design, just as designers should also try to understand the basics of coding, so that they don't design things that are not implementable. Designers should also design keeping in mind the level of experience of the developer they're going to be working with, so you don't have too much conflict. I'm not saying you should lower your standard. I'm just saying that you can still create designs and you'll be able to get the pixel perfect designs you want if you put in mind the level of experience of the developer you're working with.
Yeah, I agree too. But you see, sometimes when you limit a designer to that degree, creativity gets hampered, and they are not able to be as creative as they should be. One thing that, I'm never told, or I get as information is how good the developer is in terms of implementation. I'm just given a task and told to be as creative as I can. If the experience of a developer is a factor that I should take into consideration, my job, my designs actually might not be as good as I want it to be. So how would you then communicate your level of experience and how you want the designer to implement in terms of that? I don't know if you get what I mean.
Most times, the order is that the designer actually does all the doing before the developer even comes on board. That's what happens most of the time. Both developers and designers should not implement and design with the mind of, once I'm done with this design, I'm done for good. I'm not coming back to revise. After you've done your designs, be as creative as you want to be. Developer has a duty, before you start to implement, you're supposed to have a plan in mind. These are the sections we have in design. How do I want to implement each feature? How do I want to go about it? When the developer has gone through all the designs, and the developer can give you feedback that, oh, this makes sense, but I might not be able to do this. Can we have a workaround? I don't feel like you have to necessarily lower your standard. It's just compromise, actually. It's just compromise. We should be able to reach a middle ground. The developer should not be comfortable where he or she is. You should also strive to be better. You should always try to push past your limits just to see what more you can do. That is what makes you flexible and versatile. It can be like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but this feature, I feel like it is very, very important for user experience. This particular section of the page is what makes this page stand out more. I would appreciate it if you can push hard and try to implement it. If you cannot implement it, let us see what you can do. If you can get as close to the design as possible, they're probably the designer now has to like tweak some things that we can both be satisfied. You get to keep what you want to keep, and the developer also gets to produce something that makes very much sense. So did I answer your question, Clement?
But the problem now is we are both employees of someone. So what if that someone wants something at a certain level of standard? We designers are the ones doing the pushing pixels or whatever you call it. So what if the client's expectations is what we are trying to meet? And then you as a developer, you have skills limitations or whatever you call it. How then we work around that?
You delivered your designs, but the developer cannot implement some things. The developer has to communicate. Giving valid reasons, we're not going to say
this discussion can last. It can last more than the time we have left. I really like how this thing is going. Well, now this is bad. Are you saying that as a designer, right? If you cannot design with the thought of developer in mind. How do you design, right, for the client in mind and for millions of different other users? Not developers now, for users in mind. Because I feel those two things, like, they are something you always have at the back of your head. But then not just now allowing the thought of putting the skill set of the developer in mind is limiting your creativity in a certain way. Is that not a problem?
So the thing is, very honest, if I would say this problem between developers and designers, the real origin, the real devil that is causing all this problem, to be very honest, most times is the employers. God forgive me, God, let my employer not see this thing in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Do you get? Now, normally, there are design systems, right? Before you start a project, you have to create design systems. Now, I feel like if developers are carried from the beginning of a project alongside with the designers, they would not have this issue. Because as a developer, you get to see my design system, you get to know what you can implement. Most times is this whole implementation tussle comes after designers submit their designs without carrying the developers along. Do you get? Now, if I want to work, if I have a company of developers and designers, I should be able to carry both of them along as an employer and they won't have clashes. Do you get? But no, you want to freelance a developer, you want to freelance a designer. Good. There's nothing bad with freelancing both. But you that want to build an application, right? You should know that you have to carry both of them along. You already know who you want to work with. There's nothing there in putting both of them on the same table. They start the project from beginning. Do you get? If we are able to start this project from beginning, you know that you can tell your designer, don't use this icon so because I can't implement it or there are no codes for it. Do you get? From the onset, please, people, employers, carry your developers and designers along, put them on the same plate. Designers, always share your design system with your developers. If you know your developers, there's nothing bad in sharing your design system with them. Do you get? It will save a lot of all these, you changed my design, you didn't do this one, you didn't do that one. And as a developer, I don't know what coding looks like. I tried HTML and CSS and I ran away. I don't know what it looks like.
You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said that. Yeah, they will hold you by the neck.
I ran away. We say it with my full chest. Will you come and beat me? No, some of you have tried UX designs and you ran away. The truth is that most developers are lazy. To be very honest, you could just copy codes and paste, and you don't want to work on codes. You just go to one, whether it's GitHub or wherever you copy your post, just copy it one, just dump it there, bullseye, and you come and say it's not implementable. It's a lie. It's because you are lazy. You don't want to work. You're looking for shortcuts. You just have to put in the extra work. And please, if you're a front-end developer, try not to bash your designer. That's it. First of all, it kills self-esteem. I know you have 10 years working experience, and I have 2. Don't come and discredit me because me personally will have drag you. So I feel that's just it. When we are working on a project, right, try to see your designer. If you have more experience than the designer, try to see that designer like you're on the same level. Do you get? Because I know front end, yes, you guys have been there before UX design started and all that, but you don't always have to rub it, because when you start rubbing it in a designer's face, they will attack you. It's just our defensive mechanism. We love developers. It's not like we hate them. But when you guys try to do like, you guys we've been there before, you guys, I will want to protect my territory. Do you get? And I feel that's why all this unnecessary power tussle is always happening. But still at that, carry your designers along. Carry your developers along. No big deal. We'll be fine.
I felt it in my heart. I know that came from your heart too. Because they don't do you, so
then do me a full project like this, and I redid it, and I was weeping because it's internship. I just do it with tears in my eyes. I did it with hot premium tears.
I feel you, Fele.
And the front end guy was telling me, this is something I can do in 3 hours.
In fact, let me what's the case. I can build a complete website from start to finish in 30 minutes. E-commerce website. I can finish it from start to finish 1 hour.
Listening to what Mercy and Eniola has to say, and I think from my own personal experience, right? Because I'm sure my coworkers will see this one. From my own personal experience, is the devs, especially when the devs know more than you or they've been in the game more than you, right? They tend to have that knowledge of, I think this is better, or this is something they've done before, and they think is what they would implement here. And the only problem with that is that products are different, and the industry for which product is different. So is the user and target base. So what Google is doing with Google Meet, and maybe probably what Google is doing with Classroom, Zoom cannot do exactly the same thing, because you can use Zoom for more than just classrooms, right? And if you try and copy exactly what the developer's experience is in a different product to an entirely new product, just because it's easier or it's similar, they will be voila. And I think that's where the difference, like where we have that friction, because the devs that know more or devs that have more experience, they think it's just like code. Oh, it's the same code, right? I've done this before, so I just put the same thing. But the delivery of the experience is now different, because it's different users are using it, a different product. That's my own experience. But then if you have a good dev, like I have good devs. Honestly, I work closely with the CEO and my developers. They are really good people. So we fight, but when you fight and they listen, I'll be like, calm down, don't worry, we'll fix it. And they fix it immediately, and it just gives me chills. That's my own experience. I really appreciate all of you for coming here in
this set of developers, they are nice. So
we have to represent our own ecosystem.
They are very nice set of developers. So I think
that's how all of us are.
No, not all of you.
That's not all of you are.
They're all nice. No, deep down, in the bottom of our hearts, we are nice people.
That's not all.
Especially front-end developers. You see back-end, you can manage, where you see front-end developers.
They are the ones. Actually, all of them here, they are front-end devs.
They are the ones.
Front-end devs are always nice, actually.
No, they are not.
Last question to all of you. You just add what's your favorite resource for learning. So for designers, what's your favorite design resource? It could be a person, a thing, it could be a place, animal, it could be anything. Just give a brief introduction to yourself, like your journey, your tech journey, your design journey, short one, and then tell us your favorite design resource. So we're coming to a close, but for just this moment, as this topic is so deep, we're going to have another episode with different set of guests come tell us about their own experience working with devs and designers. I suggest you subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification to know when that video gets out. With that being said, let's get back into it.
Okay, so I am Clement Basi again. I am a product designer, and I've been designing for about 2 years, roughly 2 years now. And I think I should go straight to my resource now. Let's not beat around the bush. I read a lot of Medium articles. I read a lot of Medium articles and watch a lot of YouTube videos. I resonate well with videos. I don't like to read, but I force myself to read because there's lots of gems, written gems and books. So I had to force myself to read, but I mostly resonate with videos. I watch lots of YouTube videos. So yeah, it's mostly Medium and some favorite YouTubers. And that's just about it. And of course, nice UX books. So that's just my resource circle rather. That's about it. The next person can go.
Okay. This Clement is forming calm. We know you are not calm.
I'm calm, okay.
Yeah, thank you, David. So my name is Enyola. Yeah. Let's say I found out about coding and 2017, and I've been there. I've learned C++, I learned C#. Not like I really use them though. I use C# to make Unity games, following Bragg's tutorial. That was the first thing I did. I entered tech with this passion. I had no thought of making money or anything like that. So when I got to the university, right, like I really needed money, and this game stuff wasn't cutting it, right? Yeah, game stuff wasn't cutting it. Like if you know Brackets on YouTube, I really follow up tutorials, and I also made games from his tutorial. I made games like Mario, and like I called one Cupton. That one even went to the Android actually. So after that, 2020, I actually said that to try out front-end development, which was like important for me because I had a lot of fear dropping C sharp. Learning the C sharp was like the most difficult thing I ever faced in my life because I don't think it's a beginner-friendly on language open first. So dropping it was a big deal for me. Like it really fucked me up at that moment in time. Sorry for using that word. Well, I had no choice, I became more of a JavaScript. By 2020 January, right? I started my front-end development journey, right? So I was a bit quick to learn HTML and CSS. I mean, I learned HTML and CSS for quite a while. That took me some time. That's like 6 months. A lot of people use 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month today, but I don't know that time. I just feel like, okay, let me take it slow. I saw it like C sharp that if you don't understand everything, you cannot go forward. Meanwhile, if you don't understand most of the stuff, you can still go forward. I didn't know that. So I took my time to learn all the tags, learn all the design stuffs. And then JavaScript was so fast for me. Why? Because I learned C sharp earlier. That was what was fast for me. Because the OOP programming language, everything was all the same in JavaScript till I got to year 6, right? So that was my journey. I managed to like keep pushing that. And I fell in love with sharing content on the internet in the year 2021. Yeah, 2021. I've forgotten the month. The H1, the first half of 2021. I started like,
Rex, calm down.
Yes?
Calm down. You have to keep it brief. The time don't go. I want to hear your journey, but then you have to.
Okay. So I started making content in 2021, and fast forward, I made content on Instagram, Twitter, and fast forward to today. Yeah, I still front-end development, right? So sorry, I won't take any more time. I love learning a lot from Maximilian Schwarzmiller. That's from Udemy, right? It's really good. And I when it comes to solving problems, we have GitHub, Stack. Let me say research, basically. And when it comes to blogs like Medium, I only go there if I have problems. I won't read the blog on normal day, right? So yeah, that's it for me.
Mercy and
Eniola, thank you so much.
You have shorter
Eniola,
time.
to intimidate me. Why? Anyway. My name is Mercy for short. Okay. Started coding 2020. Started with front end. I'm still in front end. I delved into mobile development this year because I needed to use it for a job. So I'm still doing that. Started coding because I did not want to suffer. I like money, please. So yeah, my favorite learning resource is YouTube. I watch YouTube. I love code evolution videos. Yes, he makes good videos. I read articles a lot. I just read them randomly as it just come to my head. I just see it on my pop-up. I'm like, let me check it out now. I go to Stack Overflow when I have problems. So I'll just copy and paste. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all.
I like the closing statement. That's the truth. Bam, for you, give us your own story.
Okay, my name is Precious, but everybody calls me Bam. Yeah, so I started UX design like 5-6 months ago. Yeah, I transitioned from copywriting to UX design. So for resource, I do YouTube, right? Medium. I follow lots of designers on Twitter, the Agba them. Yeah, so basically that's it.
You see how the designers kept it short, but the devs, but let's not go there. Thank you. You're not dragging anybody again.
Like the other design articles.
Yes, they are.
They are a lot.
A whole lot.
Is UX Planet.
Lot.
UX Planet
Yeah,
is
another
basically
thing, something I did not add for resource. Yeah, so I do Behance and Dribble a lot. I understudy case studies, right? So if that counts, and I think every designer should do that.
Yeah,
that's why I'm doing additional resources. I have to. Yes.
Okay.
I listen to developer podcasts actually. Stack Overflow has a podcast. We have JavaScript, Java, front-end party. So yes, there are developer podcasts that actually make a lot of sense. But if you don't like to read, you can just listen to like the latest news in the tech ecosystem and some JavaScript updates and things like that. So yeah.
For people watching on YouTube, right, I would be putting the links to all these resources down into segments in the description of this video, so you can find them there and go for yourself. I really appreciate you guys for coming. Honestly, I'm happy that you guys showed up and you came. And with that being said, by the way, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it to somebody. So you can check the previous videos about importance of communities to designers, and yes, designing from the trenches. That's another interesting one. We had 3 people come and talk about how they they cope with designing from the trenches. It's not easy. It's part of the time. Okay, that's all. The answer to the question now, since we have a very shorter time. So you guys, all of you unmute your mic. The first person I hear is the person I give the t-shirt to. So the question again is, yes, Bele. So the question again is, what is the full meaning of booting? Like when your computer is booting, right? What is the bam, they type like mad. Relax.
I'm not the type of
Field
Okay.
operates.
boots na startup no.
Okay.
Anyway,
Eniola,
no,
Clement, what's your answer?
this is West Pacific on national TV.
More left full meaning.
No, it's not disgrace. Clement, what's your answer? Clement so relaxed. Like he's waiting for all of you to say shit, so he just comes in like what's the answer, Clement? What's the answer? Just tell us.
Let me check for answer.
Don't